Prepare yourself for an astonishing tale that transpired within the walls of a courtroom, where a once feared and untouchable judge faced a moment of profound humiliation. A seasoned attorney stood confidently in open court, but just moments later, the scene shifted dramatically, and he found himself in handcuffs. What unfolded to bring about this astonishing turn of events will leave you utterly speechless. Before we delve deeper into this tale, share your location in the comments. If you find powerful real-life stories captivating, be sure to subscribe to the channel, as tomorrow brings another remarkable story you won't want to overlook. Now, let's embark on this journey together. Jasmine Crockett was no stranger to high-pressure battles. Before stepping into the role of Congresswoman, she had dedicated years to the pursuit of justice in the courtroom. First, as a criminal defense attorney, she stood up for those who lacked a voice, and later, she emerged as a fierce advocate in the realm of politics. Yet, nothing could have truly prepared her for the challenges that awaited her that day. The courtroom she entered that morning belonged to Judge Howard Gates, a man notorious for his sharp tongue, erratic rulings, and veiled biases. The case she carried with her was not just another file. It was a powder keg, a high-profile corruption case involving a wealthy real estate developer with deep ties to powerful political circles. Whispers of betrayal filled the air. As the accusations loomed large, state funds were being siphoned into private ventures. Jasmine, chosen as the special prosecutor, stood ready to unveil the truth. Yet, before she could utter a single word, the atmosphere shifted, thick with hostility. Judge Gates hardly glanced her way as she made her way to the prosecution table. He sifted through a file with a slow, deliberate pace, allowing a heavy silence to envelop the room. When he finally broke the stillness, his words oozed with contempt. "Miss Crockett, I hope you come bearing something of value, or shall we hasten to the moment where your dramatics merely squander my time?" A few chuckles echoed from the back, primarily from the defense team, yet Jasmine remained unshaken, standing tall. "Your Honor," she declared, "the evidence unfolds before us, revealing a tale of the misuse of taxpayer money. My role is to weave the facts together, presenting them with clarity and precision, Your Honor." Gates reclined, pretending to be uninterested. "Taxpayer money, huh? That's never been the foundation for unfounded claims before, has it?" Jasmine's jaw tightened, yet she maintained a steady tone. "With all due respect, Your Honor, I wouldn't label charges of corruption and fraud as baseless." Their eyes locked, his cold and calculated, hers steady and unwavering. But just as she was about to continue, he interrupted her once more. "Miss Crockett, kindly spare me the lectures and get to the heart of the matter. I simply don't have the time to entertain your progressive fantasies." Whispers began to ripple through the gallery, a sense of unease settling in the air. Something was amiss, and it was palpable. This wasn't merely a stern judge. It carried the weight of something deeply personal. Jasmine, with a calm demeanor, reached for a folder and opened it. "Your Honor," she began, "I would like to direct the court's attention to Exhibit A. These financial records clearly demonstrate." "Do you always bury people in paperwork, Miss Crockett?" he retorted. "Or is this merely your method of making up for a deficiency in genuine arguments?" The atmosphere thickened with anticipation. The defense attorney wore a sly grin, yet Jasmine remained unshaken. She took a moment, then set the folder aside, and brought her hands together, poised and ready. "Your Honor," she spoke with a serene demeanor, "if you would rather keep this matter personal, I am more than willing to request a recess to discuss any professional concerns you might have." It was a gentle yet resolute counter, a soft indication that she would not be cowed, even in the presence of the judge. Gates wore a sly grin, declaring, "Oh, I have no worries at all. Miss Crockett, before me lies a case that seems fragile." Yet the gallery responded with audible gasps, soft murmurs, curious gazes. The judges were meant to uphold impartiality, yet this was undeniably obvious. Jasmine, with a calm demeanor, moved ahead and said, "I suppose we should let the evidence do the talking." She unveiled her next document, a tapestry of financial data, revealing stark discrepancies in project funding. Yet, just as she began to weave her narrative, Gates interjected, "I hate to interrupt your presentation, truly I do, but I believe we've seen enough numbers for one day." "Your Honor," she countered, These numbers are the very foundation of the case. He scoffed. And yet, I see nothing that justifies wasting this court's time. It was evident he was not merely dismissive. He was intent on quashing the case before it even had a chance to breathe. Jasmine reached for the next page in her file. Your Honor, I'd like to submit a motion. Denied, he replied, cutting her off. She looked up astonished. I haven't even stated the motion, and yet I already know it's going nowhere. The tension in the room thickened, palpable and electric. People were no longer just spectators. They were immersed in the unfolding drama. Something was amiss and Jasmine felt it deep in her bones. Judge Gates, she said, her voice steady. Absolutely. Gates was not merely unfriendly. He was guarding a secret, though he was unaware that she was equally aware of the stakes. Then let's move forward, she declared, illuminating a document, a contract binding the developer to the city planning. But then came the unexpected turn. She displayed another document on the screen. An internal ledger revealing that the developer had pocketed almost twice the sanctioned budget. And then a third document appeared, bearing a signature. Howard Gates. The courtroom held its breath. Jasmine turned to him with a serene demeanor. Your Honor, might you enlighten us as to why your signature graces an unauthorized financial transaction linked to the defendant for the very first time? Gates remained silent, his expression a mystery. That document is inadmissible, he stated softly. How so? Jasmine inquired. It was obtained improperly. Your Honor, it was subpoenaed by my office. Then it was mishandled. It won't be considered. Yet, the damage was already done. Every eye in the room had laid witness to it, the jury. In the bath, the reporters stood in stunned silence, for no one could unsee the events that had just unfolded before their eyes. Jasmine pressed on, undeterred by the public hearing and the watchful eyes of the media. The room buzzed with tension as she pointed out the dismissal of crucial evidence, without any justification. That's enough, Miss Crockett, someone interjected, but she remained resolute. With a calm demeanor, she reached into her briefcase, retrieving a small recorder. As she pressed play, a voice filled the courtroom, commanding and unmistakable. Take care of it. I don't care how. Make sure she doesn't get her hands on those ledgers. The atmosphere thickened with silence, as all present recognized the voice. It was Judge Gates. Jasmine allowed the recording to play, then softly posed the real question. Who were you speaking to? The judge erupted in fury, but the moment had passed. With a deft motion, she pushed another document forward, a transcript of a wiretap that echoed the recording precisely. Turning to Officer Reynolds, she requested, would you kindly read the highlighted section? The words struck like a bolt from the blue. We'll take care of her, F declared. Crockett may not have anything concrete at the moment, but if she does, I'll ensure it never steps foot in a courtroom. And then the courtroom erupted. Gates attempted to assert his authority, but the hearing had reached its conclusion. Jasmine, however, remained steadfast. I wasn't asking for your permission, she declared, followed by a subtle nod. A door swung open, and the sound of firm footsteps filled the room. Judge Howard Gates. You are under arrest, came the declaration, resonating with authority. Gasping filled the air as cameras snapped away. Journalists hurried. 2 officers approached the bench, their handcuffs gleaming in the light. Gates attempted to protest, but his words fell flat. Now you have the right to remain silent, the judge declared, marking a pivotal moment in his career. Gates found himself in a moment of stillness, unable to move as the cuffs snapped into place. Jasmine stayed seated, his face a mask of inscrutability. This was not a moment of victory. It was a reckoning. As the judge was led away, the developer's fate hung in the balance. Charles Lawson felt a wave of panic wash over him. Wait, we can work something out, he stammered. Jasmine stepped closer, her demeanor calm and steady. You seem nervous, Mr. Lawson. Why might that be? He faltered. You don't seriously think Gates is guilty, do you? She paused, her gaze unwavering. Do you? The atmosphere in the courtroom had shifted. The corruption was laid bare. Yet the trial continued. Jasmine turned her attention to the now empty judge's seat. To whoever takes over this case, I'd like to submit additional evidence. If we uncovered this, there's surely more. She fixed her gaze on Lawson once more. So I'll ask again, do you want to talk? Lawson let out a breath, his defenses beginning to falter. If I do, I want protection. Jasmine nodded. Then you'd better start talking. And with that, the true reckoning commenced. No one is above the law. Thank you for joining us in this tale. Share in the comments where you're tuning in from, and which part of the story captivated you the most. We always cherish your thoughts. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a moment. We long for more uplifting tales that highlight perseverance, dedication, and the path of self-discovery. Each individual possesses a narrative that deserves to be told. Let's continue to share these significant values together. Until next time, see you in the next video.